So in this series of lectures, we're going to be looking at body language, how to interpret it and what it means, and how little words sometimes give things away that you perhaps didn't want to give away, and how to spot when people are lying. So let's start with body language. It means so many things to so many different people. Let's start with a myth. I've heard so many times that 55% of communication is body language, 38% of communication is the tone of voice, and 7% of communication is the words, and it's simply not true. The research was done back in 1967 by a guy called Albert Mehrabian. And Albert was professor of psychology at UCLA, University College, Los Angeles. And he got his own students saying 9 different words: honey, dear, don't, thanks, terrible, brute, can't, sorry, and oh. And he got them saying in different tones of voice with different body language. And he got his own students to then interpret, what do you believe, what do you not believe? And he came up with this 55-38-7 rule. It's just not true. Often, body language can be 100% of the communication. I'm sure you've been in a meeting or in conversation with someone and someone's just shake their head and put their eyes up to the heavens, and another says, what you're talking is complete nonsense. And it can be 100% of communication is body language. I came home recently and my wife was in the kitchen. She had her arms folded. I said, are you happy? Happy, she said. Happy? I'm delirious. Now what do you believe? You don't believe the words. Body language gives it all away. Here's the most important thing you need to know about body language. If your body language is not consistent with what you are saying, people won't believe what you're saying. Let me give you that again. If your body language is not consistent with what you're saying, people won't believe what you're saying. So if you say, yes, I'm really happy about that, people won't believe what you're saying. Because I said to my wife, what's wrong? She said, don't ask. What does that mean? It means ask. It took me years to work it out. It took me years to work out what time do you call this then is not a question. Do you have to play so much golf? It's not a question, because we talk in code. So how did we know when he was lying, when he said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky? It's probably one of the most public examples of body language giving it away. One of the interesting things about people who lie and give body language away is that they don't blink. Let me share with you what actually happens in the body when you're stressed and when you're telling lies. And then let's look at what we can do to interpret that and say what we can do to project our own body language. First of all, it's important to know that when you're lying, 4 different parts of your brain go into operation. And as a consequence of that, you don't blink. These 4 parts of the brain, these 4 parts of the brain that go into operation mean that your heart rate and your blood rate increases. And what used to be known as tells, this for example, used to be known as displacement activity. Scratching your nose, covering your mouth, you want to disguise the fact that you're telling a lie. And it's just not true. This used to be known as a signal, a tell that someone is obviously lying. But it's not necessarily the case. What's happening is you do this because the blood runs to your extremities. And the really smart liars, the bad guys, understand this now and know this. And what they tend to do is freeze and not blink. So let's look at what you can do then to convey the right kind of message. If you are feeling down and you're feeling bad about something, but you want to be cheerful, you have to put all the clusters of your body into that right environment. So if you want to say, I'm really happy about this, you can't just use the words. That won't work. You've got to have all the clusters say, hey, I'm really happy about that. Fantastic. And don't forget to blink.